Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. Welcome to Born to Achieve podcast, the show that inspires and motivates you to unlock your full potential and achieve your goals. With your host, Warren Andrew Pinder. Let's get started on this week's episode of Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve.
I am born to achieve greatness, and so are you. With us on this episode of the Born to Achieve Greatness podcast is Mr. Erik Allen. He's raised in broken home, battered addictions, was jailed at 18 and bankrupt at 21. Wow. Only to turn everything around. 18 plus years, sober, beautiful wife, 2 kids, a podcaster, and a speaker. And now helping entrepreneurs get to know and notice online through power of podcasting. Welcome, Erik.
Oh, man, thank you so much. Such an honor to be on the show with you. Man, you have a great show. People need to be listening to your show. I just want to throw that out there. But, man, such an honor to be on your show today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, our show is about really, inspiring others to share their successes that persons may be able and want to do the same. So with that said, share with us your success. How can we help persons listening to the show today to understand the power that they have within themselves to achieve greatness and to do things like podcasting and so forth that you're intending for them to?
Man, I think that, first of all, I'm a big fan of podcasts. I think everybody should have a podcast. I look at podcasting much differently than a business would. I look at it for legacy. Like, I wish that I could go back 3-4 generations and hear my great-grandfather's voice and hear his stories from him directly. And I can't do that, but I can certainly do that for my future tribe, right? And so for me, I truly believe everyone should have a podcast. And one of the things that helped me to kind of move past my past, I would say, is realizing that my past and other people's opinions of me don't define my future. And once I realized that, it was like this door opened up that I knew that I could then start to make an impact, not only on myself and my family, but others, and hopefully inspiring them. And my biggest just push to everyone is don't let that your past circumstances, your past relationships, your current circumstance define your future. You get to change your future at any moment. You just have to choose, and then you take the action to go for it.
Oh man, it's like when you talked about the past, and the genre that we speak to, we try to talk to young persons to unleash the power within, for them to fulfill their dreams, achieve their goals. Yeah. And a lot of it is held up. We say it's like a hurdle to them that they don't really understand it. Oh, I can't do it because I may have this rap or whatever. Explain to them exactly how you overcame and to the point where you are right now.
Yeah, for me, it was really a moment of spending about 10 years, I would say, wandering in the world, battling addictions. Like you said, I was 18 years old. I was in jail. At 21, I was $28,000 in debt and had to file bankruptcy. Worked in the music business for about a year, where I was hanging out backstage, being a rock star without being a rock star life, and so I had open tabs and, battled those addictions. And what I realized in this moment, it was Easter 2004. I woke up after a night of partying. And for me personally, I just felt God saying, dude, you're going down this path that's going to end your life real quick. And it was in that moment that I decided to give my life to Jesus right then and there. And I quit cold turkey, drugs, drinking, cigarettes, everything in that moment. But I realized that I couldn't continue down the path that I was going if I wanted to change my life. And so you have to change the environment, right? And so if you're in an environment that draws you away from that life that you want to be living, you've got to change the environment. And so in that moment for me, I decided to, step back. I called my buddy, said, hey, I got to take a break. Mentally, I got to take a break. Physically, I have to take a break. I got to get healthy. And what I did was I replaced those guys with men that I found in the church that had great wives. They had great marriages. They had great lives, work. They were great employees or great employers. And I just started taking them out to Starbucks. This is like way pre-podcast days, but I would sit them down to Starbucks and say, tell me how you're living the life that you want to live, because that's how I want to live. And so you have to change your environment if you want to get out of that cycle of victimhood, of addictions and things like that. And whether that's a rehab center or finding men at the church or finding good men in your community, or, you've got to change your environment if you want to change your life.
Thank you for joining today's podcast. We'll be right back.
Achieve Man, written by Warren Andrew Pinder and Dominique Bradford. This book passionately focuses on the challenges women have been made to go through and how to overcome them. In some cultures, being a woman disadvantages the girl child. This book carefully exposes the hurdles you might face. This masterpiece is the ultimate self-help guide for women. It reveals your true purpose and identity. Get your copy today. Available from Amazon.
We now return to today's podcast.
Oh man, so and that is what we're trying to do here, to get persons like you're sharing this intimate information of yourself, and you're expressing to other persons how you did it. So it's like, when we share, we help others, and hopefully that it'll pass down. You create a tribe of persons that wanting to share and wanting to help persons to come to this place. And that place is like, now how do you segue into your podcasting? What was it that allowed you to want to speak of these things and to use it as a powerful tool to help others?
Yeah. So for me, it was a trial and error, very much so. So I started podcasting in 2017. I had an MMA podcast. So I talked with mixed martial arts fighters around the world. And I basically just asked them, why do you want to get in a cage and get punched in the face? Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I just was like, I want to ask these guys why they want to do this. Right. And I did that show from 2017 to 2021. But in 2018, I came across a guy named Ed Milet online, and I was like, I like this guy. I like his values. I like his morals, what he's talking about. And I've always been kind of interested in business and entrepreneurship. And so I said, you know what? I want to start a podcast where I talk with entrepreneurs and business owners and world changers. And I want to ask them the same question, like, why do you want to get into this arena, entrepreneurship, business ownership, get punched in the face, and what keeps you going? Because as entrepreneurs, we do get punched in the face all the time, hopefully not physically, right, but mentally. And so I wanted to ask them those questions. And so I really started to kind of just build off of that, like one interview after the other. And I got really blessed early on, where I had Ed Milet on my show. It was episode 12. I had Sean Whalen on episode 6. And then I kind of took off from there to talk with John Gordon and David Meltzer and Jordan Montgomery and all these other, I would say, massive entrepreneur names out there. And here we are over 300 episodes later, and still doing the Erik Allen Show, the top rated MMA show. I stopped in 2021. But, for me, I got fed off of those communications, those conversations, because not only was I able to learn so much from them, but I was able to share that knowledge of that conversation with others, and it just started to take off. And I think anytime that we have this idea that we want to step into something or try something new, you have to be okay with failing. I recorded 100 episodes of my Erik Allen Show, and someone said, how can I listen to it on Apple? And I was like, what the heck is Apple? I had no idea what Apple Podcast was. I was literally recording on a video and uploading to YouTube and calling that my podcast. And then I was like, wait a second here, I'm missing a huge market. And so I went back to the drawing board and started, putting things in place so that it got onto Apple. And now here we are, ranked 1.5, top 1.5% globally now with the Erik Allen Show.
Oh, wow. That is but so inspiring that we are able to interview you. And I thank you for obliging us.
Oh man, I love this. Yeah,
but it's just so good. I can hear that your passion for it. For someone that wanting to get into this podcast space, give them some advice from you who have been successful at it.
Yeah, I think the key to the key to podcasting is being consistent. So a lot of people get into podcasting with the wrong ideas. They get in thinking they're going to be the next Joe Rogan and make $100 million, get 100,000 downloads right away, and get all these sponsorships and things like that. But I think the number one key to being successful in podcasting is being consistent. So if you decide to drop a show on a Friday at 7 a.m., then do it the following week at Friday at 7 a.m. and continue that streak. Don't change your date. Don't change your time. The longer that you stay at that certain date and certain time, the more people will get to know, the Erik Allen Show drops at Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific. And they'll be anticipating that drop, right? And so most shows, I think the last stat I saw was 90% of podcasters don't make it to episode 7. And so if you can stay consistent with your podcast, that will get you eventually successful, because everyone else will quit. Yeah. But also, before you even launch your first podcast, I would recommend that you record 5 to 8 episodes, have them in your queue, then release your first one, because that takes the pressure off of you trying to record your next episode for the following week, right? Build up that queue, 5 to 8 episodes, completed, done, then release your first one. And your first episode should really be a trailer of you. What's your show about? What's the journey you're going to take these listeners on? Who are you going to be talking with? Is it going to be a solo show? Is it going to be you interviewing people? Are you going to do video or audio or both? Have that first episode kind of be that trailer, that teaser of what people can expect, because people will go back to the very first episode. Hopefully they don't go back to the first episode I did of Top Rated May, but be prepared. That first episode should really be this exciting trailer for what you're going to bring to the table.
Oh, yeah. You know, like everyone right now is getting into the podcast space. You see a lot of professional athletes, musicians, everyone. What is it about it? Why do you think is the drive to enter the space has become so prolific at this time?
I think it's a really great way to market your brand, to get your message out. It doesn't cost a lot of money to podcast. And most people like to talk about themselves. And so if you can talk with people to share their story that's going to impact others, then most people are going to be willing to jump on a podcast. And so I think the reason that we're seeing this explosive growth is people are finally starting to catch on. Like, man, I can talk about whatever I want, and I can share about whatever I want, because there's no regulations in podcasting as of right now. It's kind of the wild, wild west, which I'm okay with. Like, go and say your stuff, right? If you're not hurting yourself or hurting others, then, share your message, right? If you're not sharing hate, then, stay off podcast if you're going to do that, right? But get in podcasting so that you can bring a positive message. But I think we're seeing this growth because people are starting to realize that it's fun. The conversations that come out of it is great. The people that you meet in conversation is great. Like, some of my best friends today are people that have been on my podcast 4 or 5 years ago, and I've never met them in person, but I talk with them almost on a weekly basis because we had this great intimate conversation.
What's been like tell the listening audience, what's been the best conversation or the most successful show that you have had?
Man, I think everybody, a lot of people go back to my Ed Milet show, which really wasn't that long of an episode. It was like maybe 12 minutes was all. It was pretty short, but it was pretty impactful for what he did. I think probably my most favorite recent show that I've done was my favorite author. His name is Mark Batterson. He's a pastor out in Washington, D.C. He's written many books. My favorite book, In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day. If you haven't read the book, go check it out. But Mark Batterson, that conversation that I had with him was probably the most impactful for myself, but I got the most feedback from people about that episode.
Right. Me interviewing right now as a podcaster to a podcaster, where would you rate me? Where could we say, where's our show right now? What do you think?
I think your show is great. One, I like the background that you guys have together. You ask great questions and you come across confident, which I like. I've been on many shows over the years. I've done over 200 podcast interviews and outside of my own, right? And I've seen probably some of the worst out there. But I like that you are very professional. You are on time. You ask great questions. So I really have been enjoying this conversation. It's so good.
No, it's good. It's good.
Now for a commercial break.
Achieve Men, written by Warren Andrew Pinder. In this book, you will learn the 7 steps to achieving your dreams and goals. Given the vision to share how the acronym of the word achieve can be used systematically in your day-to-day life. Each of us is given a unique gift from God. Get your copy today. Available in print, ebook, and audiobook from Amazon.
We now return to today's podcast.
I'm ecstatic just to be here asking you these questions, right? Because I'm learning. So everything is learning. And I must say that it's all about us sharing. And like you say, positivity. We want everyone to know, like you say, anyone can get into podcasting, but it's the message that you want to share. And it's important that listening to your message that's spiritually based. And I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that, your changes in life was because God, like you say, it was an Easter Sunday morning. And, and God just said, place in your heart that, hey, I wanted to go another way. And here you are now with success that we're tapping into. That's great. That's great, man. You want to share some handles, for our listening audience to be able to tap into you and listen to the Erik Allen Show. I'll begin listening to you more too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, the website is just erikallenmedia.com. It's ErikAllen. And then Instagram and YouTube are probably my most active channels. Instagram is just Erik, again, Erik, and then G Allen. So Erik G Allen is my handle on there. Erik Allen Media on YouTube is where I put my podcast. I also drop a motivational video every day, and I'm also reading a devotional. And every year or every day, I jump on and I read a page out of my devotional live on my YouTube channel. Right now, I'm reading My Utmost for His Highest, which is a great devotional. I've never read it before. I thought, hey, I'm going to share this with folks. Maybe they don't have access to the book. They can at least hear me do a quick read of it every day. And so, at Instagram, Erik G. Allen, YouTube, Erik Allen Media, and then
do you have that
Allen
book?
Media.
Do you have the book beside you?
I do.
Would you be able to read something that our listeners would be able to say? You know what I mean? Just give us a drop.
Yeah, I mean, so I actually was really like today's message so it's a daily devotional, right? And so today's title is Judgment and the Love of God. And it says the Christian servant must never forget that salvation is God's idea, not man's. Therefore, it has an unfathomable depth. Salvation is the great thought of God, not an experience. Experience is simply the door through which salvation comes into the conscious level of our life so that we are aware of what has taken place on a much deeper level. Never preach the experience, preach the great thought of God behind the experience.
Man, you're the man. You're the man. It's always like you're ready to go at that bit. I gave it a challenge. It's like, I'm gonna hit this on the park. But it's just natural. You know what I mean? It's natural, man. It's good what you are doing. And the thing is that we've been in it now for a while. It's our 200 plus episode.
Come on, that's awesome.
That we're pushing, and you don't see the growth, but like you say, consistency. We don't want to stop. We want to share. We want others to be able to feel empowered that they too will share their successes. Just like yourself. You don't know. Persons will know Erik Allen when you listen to that name. You could say that you have heard Erik Allen on the Born to Achieve Greatness podcast.
That's right.
So this is what it's about. It's like helping one another to really get positive messages out there that we all are born to achieve greatness, and through doing so, we'll be motivated to do the same and helping the same way. So what's your last words for us, man? Give us some last words, encouragement, just to continue now to the next 100 episodes.
Yeah, one of the things that Tony Robbins said in his book, Awaken the Giant Within, he says, life happens for us, not to us. And so if we can realize that, and it took me a long time. Once I read that, I was like, wait a second here.
Yeah.
That what I had to go through was happening for me, not to me. It was an eye opener for me. And so if we can accept that as we go through life, that whatever happens, it's happening for us. It's not happening to us. That's a whole new perspective, man. And I think that gives us this positive outlook of like, I'm going to get through this. And for me, now I gave my life to Jesus 20 years ago now. And God has blessed me with a beautiful wife. Now we celebrated 20 years of being married. And so thank you. And I just say, look, there's going to be hard days. There's going to be days where you're frustrated. There's going to be days where you're like, man, where are you at, God? There's going to be days where you're angry. Yeah. But understand that God never leaves us, man. He's there for us at all times, and whatever we're going through, it's because He's allowing us to learn something from that. And man, just continue to move forward, continue to stay positive, and just understand that even if you're out there and you don't feel like you're loved, you are loved, man. And just continue to go through your life.
Before you go, I want to tell you something, right? It's funny you said that, Tony Robbins. I was up this morning pretty early, and in my mind, it just crossed my mind. So successful persons don't allow things to happen. They make it happen. Mm-hmm. And that just tied right into what you just said.
Yeah.
And that's I leave that. Just learn to make things happen. If you want to be a podcaster, just tap into the Erik Allen Show, listen to it, and see the get tidbits as to how it goes, and you could do it. I just believe that we're all born to achieve greatness, and just like you are achieving greatness, we want to do the same. But thank you very much, Erik, for being a part of this episode, and, just shout out to your people as, we ask you to do the same. Just give us a nod too.
Oh, you got it, man. I'll definitely leave you guys a review on your website. And I'm definitely a person or a guest that will share it out too. So whenever it drops, I'm in no rush. Let me know. I'll share it out with my network as well. It's been an honor to be on your show, man. I absolutely love this conversation.
Thank you. It's been good.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. We hope you found it informative, inspiring, and motivating. Born to Achieve. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and family. Stay focused on your goals, and we'll see you on the next episode of Born to Achieve.
Take advantage of this incredible opportunity. Sign up today and claim your free ebook at www.borntoachievegreatness.com. Follow us on Facebook at Achieve Movement Inc. Get your copy of Exploring Achieveland, A Journey to Realize Your Dreams, Motivational Stories of Kindness, Inspiring Stories for Kids on Amazon and Kindle.